Hello, welcome back to my Let's Play Thaumcraft 2015 series. So I thought we should get back into some Thaumcraft stuff, and I want to start doing some infusion crafting. So infusion crafting is I think the last crafting mechanic introduced by Thaumcraft. So you've got alchemy, you've got arcane workbench crafting, and you have infusion. So infusion is kind of your top tier crafting mechanic, and it's used for tons and tons of Thaumcraft stuff. So infusion is basically sacrificing objects to imbue their power into other objects. So you're destroying certain items to make other items more powerful. So to get started, you have to build one of these infusion matrices, and you have to set up arcane pedestals around it to be able to get your items that you want to sacrifice and what you want them sacrificed into. So, if you open up the Thaumcraft to the Artifice tab, right down here under the Lamp of Growth and Lamp of Fertility, which will be blank if you don't have Infusion opened up because they are both infusion recipes. Looking into Infusion though, you can see the first thing you need is a runic matrix. It requires some of the arcane stone blocks, which we've made before, any kind of shard, you need 4 of them, and an ender pearl. And it requires 40 ordo in the arcane workbench, or 36 if you have a gold banded grapewood wand with the 90% V discount we're getting for our thaumaturge gear. Then you need these arcane pedestals, which are just the arcane stone blocks in a 3-3-1 pattern, and 5 air for each one you want to build, each 2 you want to build. And I generally build 10 and set it up like this. I saw a direwolf do that, and I thought, well, that's probably pretty good. You can't set up the infusion matrix any other way, but as far as how you would set the pedestals, I suppose there are other ways you could do that, but I'm told that symmetry is important, so I'm going to try to maintain that symmetry. So let's start out with the arcane pedestals. I'm going to get rid of these dirt placeholders. And it's kind of a difficult setup, so I try to make sure I have everything placed the way I want it to be. Kind of with a dirt outline, then I can easily go back and fix things. So, there's also one in the middle. So, we need 9. The 10th one, I don't know, maybe I'll find a use for it at some point in the future. Now, as for the rest of it, this is going to be arcane stone brick and arcane stone block. The bricks are just 4 stone blocks in a, kind of like a brick, vanilla brick to bricks pattern. So bricks on the bottom, and then block on the top. And finally, we have to set up our runic matrix, and it has to have an air gap in the middle. So we'll take our dirt so that I can plant this. Not like that though. Get the runic matrix and place it there. Alright. That all looks good. So, going back to the Thaumcraft, the Infusion tab, or research, on the 3rd page it shows you how to set up the infusion matrix. So, arcane stone bricks at the bottom, pedestal in the middle, blocks on top of that, space in the middle, and then the runic matrix. So, there are 4 layers laid out just like that. No other pattern will work. Take your wand, and it has to have 25 of each aspect, although our V discount should be a factor, so we should only take 90% of 25, whatever that is. Point it at the runic matrix, right click, and you can see it's all changed. We now have these pillars rather than the blocks and bricks. So there we go, the infusion matrix is all set up. We are now ready to do some infusion crafting. So, what kind of things can we craft with the infusion matrix? Well, there are literally tons of things actually. So once you open up the infusion research, many things that were previously dark are going to be lit up. So I mentioned the lamp of growth and lamp of fertility. They are for farming and ranching. They are infusion recipes. Even though they come off the arcane lamp, they are still dark because we didn't have infusion. So now they're opened up. The same thing goes for the boots of the traveler, for mirror magic, brain in a jar. There are literally tons of things this is going to open up. All kinds of other wand cores, including the Silverwood wand core, which I'd like to get. And there are some tools, some Thaumcraft tools, not just this bow, but there are many tools, and I'm not sure what I need to scan to open those up, because I would think they'd be open by now, but maybe I haven't scanned the right thing. I'm thinking it's because I don't have Thaumium, so that's probably what needs to be opened up. I'm not sure yet, but I'd like to make some of those tools pretty soon. So I'm going to go think about what we're going to make with our first infusion crafting recipe. However, if you read the Thaumonomicon, you will find out that infusion crafting is fraught with instability. In other words, lots of bad things can happen when you're doing infusion crafting. This is, supposed to be really powerful magic stuff. We're breaking the fabric of the universe or something to that effect, and the universe is going to exact a penalty sometimes. Some recipes are minor. They cause little bits of instability, little bits of flux. Some things are not so minor. And there's a chance some of our items could be destroyed. There's a chance we could be damaged by the infusion process. There's a possibility we will get flux effects. So there are things we can do to mitigate these effects. And if you read the Thaumonomicon for the infusion, it will tell you that there are things you can do to help out with this. We can put things around the infusion crafting. So we want to make sure that we have symmetry wherever we are. So if it calls for two objects, it's best that they are symmetrically opposed from each other. So left pillar here, left pillar here. Things like that. There are also certain items we can place that help us out and that as well. Skulls, crystal clusters, and candles. So I think I should go get the research to make some of those candles, and we'll set those up first. I've got plenty of skulls. I'm not sure about the crystal clusters. If it's the same as 1.6, I should be able to make some of those. We'll take a look. So I'm going to go get the research for the magic tallow, which will help us make the candles, and I'll be back when I have that. Alright, so I think we're ready to help make some things that will reduce instability in our infusion crafting. So if you go back to the Thaumonomicon, to the Artifice tab, and go to the infusion recipe, or the infusion research, you will see that you can reduce effects of infusion by using occult items. Candles, skulls, crystals, things like that. So we are ready to make some of those candles that will help us out. They're on the Alchemy tab under Magic Tallow. You get Magic Tallow in a crucible by tossing rotten flesh into a crucible with Praecantatio. That will get you Magic Tallow. 2 of those with some string will get you 3 white tallow candles. So I think the best source of Praecantatio is netherwort, because you can farm it. But I haven't been farming my netherwort, so I don't have enough of that right now to waste. So for the time being, I'm going to use some greatwood logs, which I've got enough of. They also have Praecantatio. So go over to my crucible. We'll toss the greatwood logs in, rotten flesh, get me this 2 pieces of tallow. And I forgot to get some more string. Alright, there we go, more string. This is not an arcane workbench recipe. You can use any crafting table for this. There's no magic required. No wands in here, you can see. There we go, 3 white tallow candles. Let me scan that real quick. Alright. I also want to make sure I don't get any flux from my breaking down things. And you can see I've broken down the arbor. It's breaking down into herba and air. The herba will break down eventually as well, and then we will get flux effects if I don't get rid of this. So I'm going to get rid of that. Alright. That's taken care of, so I can go put my crucible back to working order. And eventually I think we'll make a golem to help fill our crucible. But not for now. So I made some other candles before off camera. So what else can we use to reduce instability? Well, let's say we could use skulls. I've got skeleton skulls and zombie skulls and creeper heads. And there's also crystal clusters. So in the Thaumcraft, under the basic information, the ores tab, they can be formed together to form, they can be combined together to form crystal clusters, all of your shards. So it's just 6 in a crafting table like this, and it's shapeless, so wherever you want to put them. So I'll just go ahead and make mixed crystal clusters for now. There we go. Alright, so let's see what we're going to do with these. I'm going to put the crystal clusters here in the middle. I've got 4 of them. I didn't have enough to make 8, so 4 is a good number to me for symmetry. I will put the candles. No, I won't put them like that. I'm going to put them like this. Alright, and lastly we'll use our heads. So I'm going to have a skeleton head. I'm facing out. There we go. Skeleton head. Skeleton head. I don't really know what they mean by symmetry. Like, should I be putting skeleton heads across like this, or should I need them symmetric like that? Can I use the creeper head over here? I don't really know quite how the instability stuff works, so I'm going to go like this for now. We'll see how it works out. Alright, so that brings us to actually doing some infusion. We have our infusion matrix. We have our items to reduce our instability. So now we should actually be able to make something. So the first thing that I want to make is called Boots of the Traveler. There's some really nice Thaumcraft boots that let you walk faster, they let you jump higher, they let you fall farther without damage. They do all kinds of nice things. So if you open the Thaumcraft to the Artifice tab, Boots of the Traveler are a little bit down under the Lamps of Growth and Fertility. It requires leather boots, some air shards, some enchanted fabric, a feather, and a fish. And you also need Eider and Velatus. So whenever you infuse items, you are destroying items that you sacrifice, and you're also taking Essentia and putting that into your recipe. So I have already gone ahead and distilled some Velatus and some Eider into these bottles over here, these water jars. I've got the items we'll need to make that. So leather boots, the fish. Let me see how the recipe was again. Alright. Air shard, fabric, feather, fish. Air shard. And if you'll notice, I've got 2 fish and 4 fabric, even though only 1 and 2 are required, respectively. Sometimes infusion crafting will destroy some of your items. You need to make sure you've got a backup, or you could end up messing up your recipe, and bad things will happen if you keep the infusion going without having enough stuff. It's also best to have a little bit more than they ask for in Essentia, just in case something goes wrong. So, Thaumcraft one more time. 25 Eider, 25 Velotis. Again, you can go back to your Aspects of Magic page to find out what you might need to cook down to get those. I used feathers for Velotis, and I used trapdoors for Eider. Alright, so how do we actually do some infusion? Well, we're going to put the boots in the middle, so right-click on a pedestal to put the object there. You can see they're kind of hovering there on the pedestal. And now we just need to put the objects around there in a symmetrical pattern. So you can see there's kind of 4 tables around here. So we want to put them close by on this. So let's see here. I'm going to go crystal, crystal. Let's see if that looks right. Crystal. Yeah, I don't think that looks quite right. Let me take my items back. Right-click on the pedestal to get your items back. Alright. I don't know quite how sensitive this is, but here is how I look at it in the Thaumcraft. This, or these two, are different pedestals. These two are different, these two are different, and these two are different. So there's your 8 sides. So it looks like these would be different sides, kind of the same pedestal. So I would have fabric next to an air shard on a corner. So fabric next to an air shard. That's how I would read that, but again, you can set up your tables in different ways, so I'm not sure it really has to go like that. So then I'll put the air shard on the next one. Yeah, air shard on the next one. Going to skip one and go to the fish. And then feathers on the same one, so feathers next to that. And then finally the last of these. Alright. So again, not quite sure that matters quite how I put it like that. It may just be you need the items there, but it's best for symmetry if they're all kind of opposed. So that's how I read the symmetry. It's also nice when items on the right are on the left over there, and items are right across each other. So shard, fabric, shard, feather, fabric, and fish. So now that our items are lined up, we've got our Essentia, we've got our we got flux over there. Thought I cleaned that up. Oh well. Now we've got all of that taken care of, all we have to do is start the infusion process. So Layla will help us out by looking at stuff. So you're going to take your wand and right click, and you can see it's going to drain the Essentia from the water jars, and once that's done, it will start breaking down your items. So you want to try to be able to see as many items as you can on your pedestal to see what it's going to do. I can see almost everything now. I think I can see everything, all the items. So once the Eider goes into here, we should see items start breaking down. There's an air shard going down. Another air shard. Magic fabric. Magic fabric. Feather. And the fish. Alright, perfect. So the instability was marked as negligible in the Thaumonomicon, meaning we weren't likely to have too many ill effects from that. But you never know, and you want to watch the items if they get destroyed or knocked off a pedestal. You need to be ready with backups to go and place those. So, didn't happen this time, which is good, but it can. So, let's see here. Yeah, instability, negligible. So, here's how fast I move normally. That's just regular Minecraft walking speed. If I sprint, I go that fast. Alright, not bad. Can we do better? Here's my walking speed now. Yeah, I'm basically sprinting now. Or sprinting. More importantly, we also have jump assist or sprint or some walk assist. Anything you walk over is one tall, I can just walk over it now. Jumping is much higher. It always has fall damage, but should be, better than it's been. So let's see how the water works. Yeah, that's a lot better. Take the boots off just to see the difference. Yeah. Alright, so they're nice for my little stair-step pattern I made because I can just walk right up here. Or I can jump into the village if I want to, having to go through the fence. So, farming no longer needs gates for me. Ooh, creeper. Gotta get away from him. Alright, so that's the basics of Infusion, how you take care of that, and why we went through the E17 distillation before, getting ready for all this stuff. There are many more cool recipes we're going to be able to make with Infusion, so we'll get to that in another episode. Catch you next time.